First of all, I would like to express my appreciation to the Global Solution Initiative for conducting this strategic discussion today. Ladies and gentlemen, for more than 12 months, we have seen the devastating impact of pandemic COVID-19, which not only disrupting health, but have a serious implication on the social, economic, and financial system. In 2021, the COVID-19 pandemic remains a challenge for our global community. The projection for 2021 and 2022 showing a positive recovery, but we are not overcoming the COVID yet. According to the IMF World Economic Outlook in April 2021, this year, the global economy is expected to recover very strongly by 6%. And next year, it's going to moderate it into 4.4%. This is a strong recovery given the fact that COVID-19 has devastated the global economy with a contraction of 3.3% in 2020. We are still facing uncertainty surrounding this global economic outlook, although the projection has been quite optimistic. There is still continue another wave of COVID-19. There is also some question regarding the policy direction and spillover effect of advanced country policy that may also affecting many emerging and developing countries. And at the same time, the recovery of the global trade as well as commodity prices can create an opportunity, but also challenge for many countries in the world. So for all of us to be here today, to remain vigilant is very critical. We need to make sure that the global response to this global challenge is going to be effective in order for us to be able to create a strong and sustainable recovery process. Ladies and gentlemen, the government of Indonesia also taken a counter-cyclical policy in an extraordinary magnitude in order for us to be able to face with this devastating impact of COVID-19. Fiscal policy play an important role. We widen our deficit to reach 6.1%. This has never happened for Indonesia to have a fiscal deficit more than 3% in the past 15 years. The recovery process in Indonesia is now ongoing. Of course, all the policy support coming from the government combined with monetary policy and financial sector regulator. Indonesia focusing first on protecting the health or the safety of the people through the spending on a health-related spending, which is focusing not only on the vaccine, but also for testing, tracing, and treatment. We also providing financial support, social protection, especially for those who are very vulnerable. At the same time, we are using fiscal policy in order for us to be able to support small and medium enterprises so that they are not only survive, but also can recover strongly. The government of Indonesia also putting attention to the strategic sector as well as local government. As a big country with more than 260 million and 34 provincial area, the role of local government is very critical. So we allocate and support local government ability to not only dealing with the COVID-19, but also to recover their local economy. With all this effort, this year, the government will expect a recovery around 4.5 to 5.3%, and is going to accelerate further in 2022. Currently, we are witnessing the recovery of manufacturing sector as shown by the PMI manufacturing indicators, which reached 54.6. This is the highest in the past 6 months. We also see the confidence of the household consumption, which is also showing the recovery on a demand side. Export, which is accelerating very strongly due to the global economic recovery, also provide us with more confidence. In 2022, which currently we are still formulating with the Parliament, the government is going to continue preparing the recovery policy program, which continue focus on the health sector spending, making sure that all gain which we earn in 2021 is going to continue to be sustainable. On the other hand, the social protection as well as support for small medium enterprises is going to be continued in order for us to make sure that the most vulnerable will get support and continue recovering. But our policy is going to also address the fundamental issue in Indonesia, that is productivity and innovation, by focusing on improving human capital quality. We will continue also support the spending on infrastructure and creating innovative financing in order for us to be able to consolidate our fiscal while at the same time continue support the development process. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, following the appointment of the G20 Leaders Summit meeting in November 2020, Indonesia and the government of Indonesia is currently accelerating and intensifying our work to prepare Indonesia to become the G20 presidency in 2022. As the G20 presidency, we have a strong commitment as well as effort in order for us to be able to provide a strategic role for G20 in rebuilding the world economy, hopefully post-COVID-19 pandemic. G20 as a forum have the important work collectively to mobilize global action. And this is especially true when we are facing global challenges like pandemic as well as climate change. G20 has initiated important multilateral action in supporting the vulnerable country and creating positive spillover for the global recovery. In April 2020, G20 has adopted Debt Suspension Service Initiative, or DSSI. The objective is to leverage fiscal space for the eligible countries and to reallocate their resources for financing domestic work, including in dealing with pandemic COVID-19. The DSSI has been approved for the last extension until the end of December 2021. We do hope with this fiscal space created by this DSSI, all countries, especially low-income countries, they are going to be able to face with this daunting task, not only dealing with the COVID, but also recovering their economy. G20 also initiated the implementation of common framework beyond DSSI, as well as debt treatment mechanism. G20 reassure the MDBs and international organizations in mobilizing liquidity support for emerging financing facilities, as well as continuing the work on the IMF SDR allocation, especially for the emerging and low-income country. These are all a very commendable G20 initiative, which is not only work serving the need of the G20, but most importantly, in order for us to be able to mobilize a collective action to help all countries in the world. The G20 now also creating a collective action in order for us to ensure a fair, equitable, and affordable access to acquire the needed medical equipment and medicine, including the most important at this current moment, the COVID-19 vaccine. Vaccine is very critical because pandemic COVID-19 is a global issue. No country can recover until all countries have the ability to access and get the vaccine. We also see the G20 supporting the global negotiation in accelerating the global consensus on digital taxation, which hopefully can be reached by mid-2021. The current encouraging development of all G20 to achieve this global agreement or consensus on digital taxation will provide certainty for all countries to be able to create a strong foundation for international collaboration milestone in ensuring fairness, simplicity, and certainty, as well as advancing the international tax cooperation agenda. Indonesia strongly supports this initiative because Indonesia is a big country, is also thriving and seeing the development of digital economy, which is very strong, but at the same time, we want to make sure that the tax base as well as the ability to collect tax with this digital economy progress will be fair, simple, and certain. Ladies and gentlemen, during this current pandemic, we also witnessing current global conjuncture on health crisis with uneven recovery and rapid growth of digitalization. And at the same time, we are also becoming more and more aware the challenge which is coming from the climate change. With all this situation, we highlight the year of 2022 as a critical year for all global effort to continue working together to safeguard the global economic recovery towards strong, sustainable, balanced, and inclusive growth. The G20, representing 85% of global economy, 75% of global trade, and 66% of global population. So the leadership as well as cooperation from the G20 is definitely critical for the well-being of the global economy. As the G20 presidency in 2022, Indonesia will highlight the important role of the G20 to continue provide global leadership and ensuring that all economies can recover together and investing for stronger future. This ambition will be translated into 3 strategic pillars as the foundation to set up our agenda for the G20 2022 presidency. The 3 pillars are promoting productivity, increasing resiliency and stability, and the third one, ensuring sustainable and inclusive growth. Currently, Ministry of Finance as well as Bank Indonesia has identified 4 priority agenda to be discussed under the G20 finance track. These are, first, global policy response. Second one, improving quality and competitiveness of human capital post-COVID-19 pandemic. The third agenda is digital transformation for a productive and inclusive economy. And the last one, which is becoming more and more important is how we can discuss just and affordable transition on sustainable financing. The agenda on global policy response is aimed to ensure that the withdrawal process of policy support and measure will consider several aspects. That is, ensuring that the global economy recovery is continue on track and stability of economy and financial condition is going to be maintained. On the human capital agenda, G20 is expected the discussion on promoting the importance of human capital investment post-COVID-19 pandemic. That's also improving education as well as strengthening health and social protection system. The Indonesia presidency of the G20 intends to continue discussing the digital technology agenda. If we are going to achieve the global agreement on the digital taxation globally, we will continue focusing on competitiveness and bridging the digital divide. Discussion on sustainable finance is becoming very, very critical, with the recognition that the climate change will affect all human beings. But all countries will face with the daunting task on how we develop a just and affordable transition to accelerate green economy recovery. How we are going to be able to protect this planet through the development of sustainable finance and potential development of carbon pricing. This agenda is also hopefully will improve the economic resiliency and especially creating a global economy which is resilient for potential shock, whether it is coming from the pandemic as well as from the climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, lastly, we are all need to continue learning the lesson from the current pandemic, which is taught us with a very important lesson that first, all country, all people is actually share one planet. This pandemic taught us that no country can avoid this global problem. The same is going to be the same for climate change. So for all of us to be able to continue, reiterate, and strengthening the commitment to work together to improve as well as to strengthen collective effort, ensuring that all economies can recover together and invest for better future. These are the challenge, but also the objective for the Indonesia to hold the G20 presidency in 2022. Thank you.